Good afternoon, Luli. Hey, everybody. We'll want to set this up for you. We have a live interview standing by. He has had some experience, unfortunately, with building collapses. He is an attorney for Morgan & Morgan, and he is investigating the Hard Rock Casino collapse in New Orleans. You remember that was back in 2019. 3 construction workers died in that accident, and I believe the third one wasn't recovered until 10 months after the collapse. Rene Roche joining us now live. Rene, when you see the pictures coming from Surfside, what similarities do you see, if any, to the site there in New Orleans?
Well, you have a catastrophic failure of structural integrity that seems much more profound here in Surfside than what we saw at the Hard Rock collapse in New Orleans. Remember, that hotel collapse was in the middle of a construction project. That was not a finished building. And the collapse that we dealt with in that case started at the 6th floor. The bottom floors, the foundation of the building, the concrete slab remained intact. Here you have major portions of the building collapsing, and if you see the footage of it, it seems to collapse from the center out towards the ocean side. So why did that happen? It's going to take some time to tell. You know, there are engineers who are looking at this and positing theories. We are discussing this with our engineers, but this is a process. You know, right now we're in a rescue and recovery mode, and that's clearly the most important thing. I just heard your last guest story, and unfortunately there are many like that. So our thoughts and prayers definitely go out to the victims and their families.
Certainly.
So this is yes.
Sorry, Rene. Just a few moments ago, we were showing the viewers at home footage from the accident in New Orleans, and then that rolled into footage from Surfside, and certainly just that debris field, a lot of similarities. I wonder if you could talk to why did it take so long to recover the third victim? They were at that site. Construction workers were trying to undo what had been done for a very long time. Was that unusual for something like that to take that long?
Well, yeah, it was unusual for it to take that long, but it's not unusual for it to take some time. And as I was saying, right now we're in a recovery mode. What took long in that circumstance is that the building was still partially holding up, and there was a concern that the rescue operations could cause a further loss of structural integrity, where now you're not only endangering what's in there, but the rescuers being sent to go recover the remains. I don't know if those issues exist here. I know they are concerned about secondary collapse, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that the remaining portions of this building maintain their stability. But why this takes a long time is because the rescue operations take a long time. That's before we can really even start investigating the root causes. Ultimately, we're going to have to do a forensic accounting of everything that was going on in that building, from the slab, the rebar, the concrete. You know, is there any water intrusion? Salt water is incredibly corrosive, and you have the proximity to the ocean there that could cause some real problems if the building's not being properly maintained. But collapses like this that we're seeing in Surfside, that we saw in New Orleans, they don't just happen. It's not a product of just one failure. You know, there's a lot of theories out there. You know, did they overload the roof? Was there some kind of salt water corrosion of the cement and rusting of the rebar holding up the support beams? Was there some other kind of water intrusion? I think the answer is likely to be more likely to be all of the above than just one or two of those. And I think when we finally get to the root causes, we're going to see a number of failures and mistakes that led to this disaster.
Where do things stand in the case that you're working on with the New Orleans collapse at the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel that was under construction?
We're in consolidated litigation here in the city of New Orleans, and we do have a collaborative group of plaintiffs' attorneys who are trying to work with the number of defendants in that case.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, I just heard some interference come in. But to work with the defendants in that case to ultimately resolve the issues, because, like I said, there are a number of root causes that are likely here. It's definitely the case in New Orleans. So you have a situation where there are a number of defendants all pointing the finger at one another. it's likely to happen here as well. And when you have complex litigation issues like this, you need skilled attorneys who have the resources and the expertise to handle these kinds of issues. And that's what we do. So, we're in touch with a number of victims' families, and we're happy to speak with anybody else who has questions. I know this is a very trying time for everyone, and we're here to help provide answers if we can.
Thanks very much for your time, Rene, and for that insight. Going to send it back over to you, Lily.